Hey there, DC. Welcome to a space where your voice truly matters. Welcome to the People's Voice, DC, the fastest growing local political podcast in our nation's capital. This platform brings you the stories that shape the community and the voices that drive change. Pastor Mike Campbell is the host and founder. The mission is to create a platform where every resident of DC feels heard and valued. The podcast isn't just about politics, it's about the pulse of the city. It's about you. It dives into the heart of the issues that affect daily lives, introducing the incredible co-hosts who bring their own unique perspectives and expertise to the table. First up, Lady Hi, the dynamic founder of Hair Prep. Her energy and passion for housing is truly inspiring. She is a powerhouse advocate for affordable housing and emergency preparedness. Lady Hi has dedicated her life to ensuring that every child in DC has access to quality living. And then there's Sir Chris Otten, a man with a deep understanding of the political landscape of the city. Chris is known as a former DC City Council and mayoral candidate, but around here, he's the go-to guy for tough questions. He has quickly become a fan favorite. Together, the three hosts are committed to bringing the stories that matter, the issues that affect everyone, and the voices that often go unheard. The People's Voice. DC is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. It's dedicated to amplifying the voices of those who are often overlooked. Subscribe now and keep the conversation going. Engage on social media, share thoughts, and be a part of the dialogue. They are Pastor Mike Campbell, Lady Hi, and Chris Otten, a voice for the people. They are grateful for the support, financial or in presence, and they are excited for what's to come. Thank you for your continued support. Hit that subscribe button. Send stars and hearts. Share, repost. Send in your comments and questions. Let's continue to amplify voices and make a lasting impact. Turn those notifications off and don't miss a minute of the People's Voice, DC.
Welcome to the People's Voice DC. I am the one and only Pastor Mike, and I am joined by our co-host, Lady Hi. How are you?
Hey, still kicking rocks above ground, so I say that's a good day.
It's definitely a good day. It's a good day. I think last time we were on the show was a rainy day. It's a rainy day again, isn't it?
Again today.
What are 7 days? But it's been a lot that's happened these past 7 days. A lot has dropped. We had our mayor finally, can I say finally dropped her budget proposal. And we're going to dive into that later. We had a shooting, and as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about that shooting. And actually, I'm going to let's get right into it. In case you haven't heard about it, let's educate the people.
I was walking by, and a guy came up and looked like a gun. I couldn't tell what it was, but I heard it afterwards, the shots, and he shot this young couple. And he ran inside and yelled something. I couldn't make it out what he said. He just ran up. It was terrible.
No. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Around 9 p.m., we heard gunshots coming from outside. And then a man came in and he looked very scared. And we thought that he was just in the street and heard these gunshots and maybe came into the building because he wanted to be somewhere safe and not in the streets. Then I'm talking to him and I'm like, so do you like the museum? Just kind of trying to relax him. And he's like, oh, what kind of museum is this? So I told him it's a Jewish museum, and he asked me, do you think that that's why they did it, like it referencing the gunshots that we had heard? And it took me a second. I'm like, No, I don't think that's why. I'm sure it's unrelated. So he pulls out his keffiyeh and he says, "I did it. I did it for Gaza. Free, free Palestine." And he's chanting this, and then suddenly the police come in and they arrest him.
Wow. What are your thoughts on that, lady? Huh?
um, it's heartbreaking. It's disgusting. It's appalling. It's just unnecessary. Very, very unnecessary. Lives were lost. I mean, I get it. There's a war going on. Babies were killed. Men, women, all types of people were killed during this war. But it doesn't make it right for you to take someone else's life in retrospect to that. We all want the war in Gaza to stop. We all want peace around this entire globe. Honestly, we spend more money in wars than we do anything else. And if anybody said the right words, it was Tupac when he said, "We got money for wars but can't feed the poor." You understand what I'm saying? I'm angry about this in a way that it hurts my heart. It just, I'm a sap. I had to turn my camera off because I cried for a second. So I got to get my scruples together. But all of this mess is just unnecessary. Well, let's go back to the days of Woodstock when everybody was loving up on each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Good vibes, just, hey.
And I don't think they said it in that clip, but this couple actually, I'm sorry, first of all, they were a couple. This was a male and a female. And they were planning to head back overseas. Where he was planning to actually propose to this young lady. And become engaged and planning to spend the rest of their lives together. So it's very saddening that it's like living in DC almost, and we see our kids dropping day by day, and it's like these are kids. These are people that were on the cusp of starting a life together, and they didn't even get that opportunity. Simply because of hate. And I'll be the first to say that I don't support what Israel is doing. But I'll also be the first to say that there is no room for vigilante behavior. Batman, Superman, if you want to go as far back as the Tick, it's TV. and we got to understand that we can't become a society of vigilantes. That just makes the issues worse, not better.
Yep.
And so I wanted to definitely start out the show acknowledging and with the people's voice, DC acknowledging and sending condolences to that families, couples, friends, and not only to those the families, couples, and friends, but friends and family. But as you see all those witnesses, we just heard an account of a witness who he was actually in tears, and so like this type of stuff is traumatizing for all around.
Yes,
And the people that were there at the event who just witnessed this. This is something that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
This is something that is right now taking a toll on their mental health and stability. And so we definitely need to control the narrative, and we need to make sure that we make it known that this behavior makes no things better. The war is still happening. Israelite Prime Minister has not changed his stance. It was basically an a move that was heard, but it wasn't anything that brought about change. And that's what we need. We need action, but we need actions that bring about positive change.
Right.
Positive change. So I did want to get that covered and talked about. Like I said, there's a lot that's happened this weekend. We definitely want to get to the mayor and her budget. But I did want to let the community know tomorrow, May 29th, there is a hiring opportunity with the Life Enhancement Services. This is going to be at LaFont Square, 1301 LaFont Square in Washington, D.C. I believe that's Pennsylvania and Minnesota Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. But they're looking for community support workers and therapists. Trust me, our community needs this. We definitely have a shortage on people doing this type of work in our city. So if you are interested, if you believe you are qualified, if you think that you want to be qualified but you're not sure, still go down there and try. Still go down there, put your application in. There's a email address for you to send your resume. Just I am a man of faith. I have gotten a lot of jobs where I didn't have any experience in, where I didn't qualify. So if you feel like this is something you're interested in, please apply. Please have faith, and please move with the heart of helping our city. Next up, I want to talk about the mayor's budget. But first, I want to be fair before we critique her and give her an opportunity to speak for herself. So we'll get right back to you right after this.
Well, before she stopped in the Oval Office, Mayor Muriel Bowser announced her plan to improve D.C.'s budget, which focuses on revitalizing several neighborhoods in the district and creating more jobs. Our Melissa Kim was there. She's joining us live with everything that she's learned. There was really a lot to unpack here, Melissa. I know you've been busy taking a look at the details.
Yeah, for sure, Simone. The mayor calling her 2026 fiscal budget a growth transformational agenda. It has three main points, but really focuses on easing any economic uncertainty that the district might be facing with the nearly 40,000 federal job cuts in D.C.
So let me just get to it.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser laying out her transformational growth agenda aimed at improving the economy in the district in fiscal year 2026. She laid out her plan in 3 points. 1, investing in downtown D.C. with more office-to-housing conversions in Georgetown and Mount Vernon Triangle. Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development Nina Albert says they also plan to expand downtown.
But in the future, we have to think about downtown as also including south of the mall, because there is an opportunity here to really connect the mall to the wharf.
2, the mayor's budget doubles down on investments in sports, entertainment, and tech. There's been a lot of attention on bringing the Commanders back to the district, but Deputy Mayor Albert emphasizing the $171 million allocated to DC's NHL and NBA venue.
We haven't forgotten about Capital One Arena, which is in progress and will kick off construction this summer.
And 3, growing business in D.C. Mayor Bowser specifically honing in on restaurants, saying she spoke to owners on H Street who have struggled since the pandemic.
We know that our restaurants in the restaurant industry need special attention.
That's due to higher rent and increasing prices of supplies, especially with tariffs under the Trump administration.
We have been alarmed over the last several years about the changes to the industry.
She proposes repealing Initiative 82, 2 and restoring DC's previous tipped minimum wage law, a move supported by most restaurant owners but criticized by labor supporters. The mayor is also calling for 3 sales tax holidays for restaurants, which she hopes will encourage people to dine out.
We want to say to everybody, come back to restaurants, come back to our restaurants in particular.
Now, the mayor said, look, there's going to be a lot of economic challenges that DC is going to keep on facing. So this will hopefully combat some of that, at least from a financial standpoint. There's a lot more details in this 2026 proposal, which you can find on our website, again, in detail, WUSA9.com. But for now, we're live in Northwest DC tonight. I'm Melissa Kim, WUSA9.
A lot of people just wondering how it's going to impact them, their daily lives, and of course, their wallet.
So we heard that she is planning to connect downtown to the wharf. That's interesting. We see what the wharf has already become. This is your favorite mayor.
Who? I wore these earrings especially for this occasion.
Okay. You know what? Being the clergyman that I am, I'm going to decline to comment. But amen. So let's go by this thing. Let's go. I want to kind of dissect some points ward by ward. And so we're going to start with my former ward and your favorite ward, Ward 1. And these are some things that she has highlighted in this year's, or should I say 2026's upcoming proposal. As you can see, she has $18 million for the redevelopment of Bruce Monroe. It's been a big topic lately. She has $15 million to support transportation and other public infrastructure needs in the vicinity of Howard University. That's kind of interesting because I thought it's some changes coming in Howard as well. $144 million to modernize and renovate public schools, including Tubman Elementary and, of course, Bruce Monroe Elementary at Parkview. There's $9 million to support planning for small community parks in the Lower Georgia Avenue area. I recall a lot of parks there already. Columbia Heights.
Bruce Monroe is a park they about to tear down.
Columbia Heights, I recall a lot of parks there, and Mount Pleasant. I often am there at these parks. $13 million to rebuild the Rita Bright Community Center. Now, I will say, this community center needs dollars, and this community center needs improvement. $5 million to renovate Parkview Rec Center. I think you would be pleased with that. I think it might be a little late. I think you have been trying to get this accomplished.
2 decades.
Moving on to transportation. $402 million to maintain streets, sidewalks, and alleys citywide. We know how that goes. Got to see how that's broken down. $199 million citywide for interventions to improve pedestrian and bicycle safety. That means bike lanes, including making temporary safety installations permanent. Are those crazy pylons that they keep putting all over the city? And installing new safety infrastructure near schools. I'm anticipating raised crosswalks as a part of.
Not only that, but you know what? Let me hush up, Sean.
Go right on it. Well, I got 2 more. Then we'll let you go ahead and talk. $13 million to expand the Capital's bike share citywide. I am in favor of that. $5 million for the U Street Northwest Safety Quick Build project. This is your ward, so I'll allow you to start off on your thoughts on our great mayor and her budget for Ward 1.
What's great about it? Meryl, because I'm sure
she
you
called
see
it the Grow
sometime,
DC
Meryl.
budget.
What are you doing, Meryl? I tell you, every road has its thorn, right? Yeah. But this lady has been a cactus. She has been a cactus, and just
let's remind everyone that there are also cuts to the child care equity. There are and cuts to the child tax credit.
And all of this, and look, I got some other earrings that say Save Chinatown. I should have put one of them on along with the earring that tell my other message. But all it is, people are struggling to pay child care as it is. Nobody should have to pay literally rent money for child care. You get what I'm saying? How people are not thriving anymore. It used to be that people could pay their bills and they could live a little bit and thrive, by having vacation. And, people now have been, this is the modern day slavery. Folks just gotta work to pay bills, and it don't make sense to me. I don't understand why they're making all of these changes to the streets. The streets are small enough. If bicycles are considered motor vehicles, why do they need their own lane? Why do they need their own bike light, which people just barrel right through?
Wait a minute now. As a biker, I will say this. Originally, I mean, the idea of a bike lane is definitely helpful because of this. Drivers, and I know I actually have my brother Michael Murphy who commented, is that a budget or a wish list? Who I believe is a driver. But drivers do not respect bikers in this city. I'm going to be the one to speak up for the National Brotherhood of the District of Columbia Bikers Association. But drivers do not respect us. I've had bottles of water thrown at me. I've had beer bottles thrown at me while riding a bike. I've had people get out their car at the red light and come out their car with a hammer, threatening to throw it at me and hit me with it. I've been hit from behind by a car because I was in front of them it was a red light. So I, naturally go to the front. I shouldn't have to stop 5 cars behind on the bike. There's, I can go to the front, but and he hit me from behind. So I've had cars yell at me like, "Get on the sidewalk, get off the street," So for me, I feel safer when there are designated bike lanes. Now, I don't think whether there's a power on associated with the line, does that make a difference for me? It doesn't, because a car can, a bike, a scooter, anything can ride right over it. But as far as the bike lane, and let's not, and that's just the cars disrespect. Let's not even talk about these scooters. Let's not even and mopeds or whatever, but let's not even talk about them. Like, they are disrespectful. Disrespectful. I mean, you talk about they don't respect the sign. You talking about we don't respect signs? They don't respect any sign at all. Red light, stop sign, train coming. They don't care. They're going to try it. They're going to do it. They don't care. I mean, I'm not trying to be racist. Trump, our President Trump, and leaders of the city have studied the data. The majority of the ones who have been pulled over, the majority of the ones who have had their mopeds confiscated, have been from Venezuela. That's just the facts. But I don't feel safe in the streets of DC. There are certain places I do when I'm downtown. When I'm in Chinatown, do I feel a little safer riding my bike in the street? Yes, I do. When I'm going up Georgia Avenue, and that's a busy street, I still feel safe riding my bike in the street. When I get a little east of the river, and I love my folks, but I'm gonna be honest, the closer east to the river, and when I cross into east of the river, it ain't so friendly for bikes. It's not friendly. And when you ride on the sidewalks, because of our the great maintenance that our mayor has our city doing, it's hard to ride on sidewalks because every other block is at a different height. There's a tree root.
How do you think people in wheelchairs feel?
Listen, it needs to get fixed.
It does. And
but we see the money. We see
what you were saying, Pastor Mike. I had the opposite experience with bike lanes, and I was hit and injured very badly. And it was mainly because the person who hit me was a distracted driver. She was texting and driving. And that's a huge, humongous, gargantuan problem in this city. People can't even walk down the stupid sidewalk without looking at their phones. Pay attention to what you're doing. That lady literally hit me and left me for dead in the street. It was a hit and run. And somebody apparently went after her and brought her back to the scene, while a witness that was somewhere in the vicinity called the ambulance and the police to pick me up and take me to the hospital. You know, I had to be resuscitated. I was gone. I was in the upper room. I was in there.
I'm glad that, as we all can see, you have definitely been favored by God. And
amen, Jesus. Thank you for your grace and mercy. I appreciate you, Lord. Yes. But I
want to let everybody know while in the middle of, I know we're still talking, but I do want to remind everyone or inform someone that we have the Nourish the Block Ward 7 Food Equity Day coming up. That's Saturday, July 12th at 9 o'clock a.m. and it's supposed to last till 4. Now, I know my people. 9 means 9. 9 does not mean 10. It does not mean until. It means till 4. So let's try to get there. Let's try to support Ward 7. We know we've been waiting over here for a grocery store, for umpteen years. and we've been stuck with a safe way that doesn't feel like the safest way for another umpteen years. But I don't even shop my groceries over at that Safeway. I go over to the Safeway in by my Potomac Gardens over on 14th Street. But that's a whole different discussion. But speaking of Ward 7, which is my beloved ward, let's talk about Ward 7 budget next.
Oh boy.
It's going to be fun. So, Ward 7. Ward 7 is economic development. $500 million
Look at
for
that.
the horizontal infrastructure funding for a new Washington Commander Stadium on the RFK campus.
Like I said, we got
Another
money for the stadium, but we
$181
got no money for
million.
the grocery stores.
$181 million through Events DC to support parking for the new stadium on the RFK campus. We're at $681 million so far for the RFK. $202 million for roadways, utility infrastructure, and WMATA capacities, just a study of the RFK campus. $20.6 million for continued development of Hill East. $15 million for East Capitol Gateway grocery infrastructure. That should have been Walmart. $33 million for development of the Fletcher Johnson campus. For those who don't know, that is going to be the new standalone emergency room that is much needed in Ward 7. And may I add, by my it was championed by my former council member and my personal hero, Mayor Vince Gray, the second best mayor this city has had, in my opinion. $89 million to build a new state-of-the-art sportsplex for youth on the RFK campus. $377 million to modernize and renovate public schools, including Beers Elementary, Burville Elementary, Drew Elementary, Knoll Elementary, and Thomas. $57 million to modernize the Deanwood and Rosedale libraries. I will say, when I go to Deanwood Library, you have to use the way the bathroom system is set up. A lot of times you have to go use a bathroom that's actually owned by the rec. And so with this, I do hope that the actual library at Deanwood has actual bathrooms. Because on Sundays, the library would be open and the rec is closed. And I've had a librarian tell me, well, I just can't use the bathroom. And I'm like, huh? I know it has to be some bathroom in here. And, they were like just saving them for staff. And I'm like, this is crazy. But I'm not here to snitch on them. $38 million for upgrades to Fort Davis Rec Center, as well as to construct the Hillcrest Aquatic Center, replace Rosedale Pool, and build a new rec center in the River Terrace community. They do need that in River Terrace. $402 million to maintain streets, sidewalks, and alleys citywide. I really would like to know how this breaks down. $126 million in local and federal funds to support bridges, interchange, and streetscape improvements along Benning Road. $60 million to modernize the Benning Road transfer station. $6 million for the Anacostia River Trail Neighborhood Access Project, because they're going to make it so that you can go down to the Anacostia Park and take the trail. And then, you can go dive in the Anacostia River and go for a swim. Anyway, it's going to be $15 million. $15 million for improvement.
Stop making me laugh. Who's swimming in that water?
It's already begun. The movement has already begun.
No.
$15 million for improvements to the Department of Correction facilities. We know that there is a 300-bed halfway house coming towards 7. $5 million to renovate the Naylor Road shelter. understanding that.
Michael Murphy said that is a lot of money.
I agree. A lot of money for what though? What specifically were you speaking to? For the RFK?
That's a lot of money.
For the streets? For the schools?
I mean, I get upgrading the schools because some of them are a little dilapidated. They've been around for a while. But how about upgrading them textbooks? How about upgrading, the learning materials they have to use too? You know what I'm saying? They got money for all these stadiums and whatnot, but they not putting the money.
We're not gonna say all these stadiums, just one.
Merle. And you know what? I'm gonna shut up, Sean.
So I know a lot of people are wondering what is this Benning Road? What is going on? I do know, and actually we had a planned walkthrough this morning, at Benco, but the rain canceled it. So when I get new details of the new date for the walkthrough, I'll be sure to share that information. Anyone that knows me, you follow me on social media. I try to keep everyone informed on the events that are going on throughout the city, especially the events going on in my ward, Ward 7, the great Ward 7, but and my community, Marshall Heights, the awesome Marshall Heights, amen. Yes, so I will definitely keep that updated. But those who don't know about Benning Road, there's a proposal. A lot of you guys know that there's that intersection of Benning and East Capitol Street, right where the shrimp boat is, which is a famous landmark. That entire area is headed towards, if you will, a makeover. East Capitol Street, if you will, is headed towards a makeover. For the past, I say at least I know of, 2 years, a couple of years, the one who has led our transportation committee, one of the best council members on the council, Charles Allen, he's led our transportation committee, and he has informed us and has met with us and gotten the community's input. I say that he really did a great job of that, in my opinion. But there are changes coming to East Capitol to make it safer, and to also make that intersection flow a little easier, especially now anticipating the type of traffic that will be coming through with the new stadium. So there will be a lot of changes right there, and especially at the Benning Road station, that's going to be transformed into an actual transit center. We know that there were proposals for the streetcar to be expanded to Benning Road. From what I have known, the dollars have been delayed, but the plan is still for it to go into effect. It's still the construction is supposed to start within the next 2 years, I believe, unless those plans have changed. I will keep you informed as I learn. And there's also a place, it's right when you make that right onto East Capitol off Benning Road, like say say the Denny's is at your right and the shrimp boat is at your left, and you make that right onto East Capitol. Some folks need to make that immediate left right there on Texas Avenue. So that also will no longer be possible. That will be closed off. You cannot make that left. You will have to go further down East Capitol. I'm assuming where the rec center is, and make that U-turn if you want to get in that way.
They won't let you make a U-turn right there.
You know what it is? You know what? I'm telling on folks, but you're not supposed to make that U-turn, but people do. I'm a biker. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm a biker. But what's on the table and what is
some of us got the I ain't see nothing.
You know,
attitude,
we grew up with that. You know that's sometimes that's how you survived in the hood, baby. That's how you survive. But
Look, I'm trying to tell you that Papa. Oh, did wasn't we supposed to go to the thing? Come on,
but
let's
nah,
get
in all seriousness, that left that we are used to being able to make, that will be bus only the bus. That W4 who usually makes that left will be allowed to, but no cars. And that is supposedly to make things safer for pedestrians. I don't see many people walking.
That's wild, because I got somebody I know that lives over there, and I'm one of the people that's got to make that turn to go that way. And oh my goodness, you know what? This city is so bad. It is terrible that people are fighting to save the environment, and this city is messing it up with messing up the traffic patterns and the this light change red, but that one down there is green, and you know, they mess around. They let pedestrians walk while the light is green, and we need to go. And just if that's the case, just make it a law that we can bump them. Just like we show to bump somebody on the sidewalk, we can bump them. I'm kidding.
So let's go on to our dear friend Brooke Pinto's ward.
Oh God. Let me see what she about to do.
Ward 2. Here's the mayor's budget proposal, and these are just highlights. This isn't the nitty gritty. These are just highlights. $362 million for the Capital One to support arena renovations, streetscape improvements, public space activations, and or expanded green space in the immediate area. $190 million to modernize and renovate public schools, including the new Center City Middle School and Seton Elementary School. $600,000 to improve the field adjacent to the Francis Pool. $402 million. We know how that goes. $39 million to complete the rehabilitation of the Theodore Roosevelt Bridge, and $13 million to expand Capital Bike Share Citywide. We talked about that. $30 million to build a new senior wellness center in Ward 2.
Now,
we know the big thing is this $362 million for Capital One. We know what we recall, should I say, the horrible, can we say horrible together? Horrible deal that Mayor Bowser did after the Wizards and the Capitals were rejected from Virginia. DC had favor, like we had the upper hand, and Bowser said, "Whatever you want, I give you." This is a result of that. But go ahead.
I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious when I say this, but we do need the senior wellness centers, but we also need places for seniors to live and age in place. You understand what I'm saying? This city seems like it is just trying to purge out the families and the children and the seniors and just have it be for the young people, and let's go to the bar, let's go to the lounge, and it's going to be a city full of alcoholics in a minute. I mean, because everything is a restaurant with a bar and a lounge. I mean, where other than the senior wellness centers, where do seniors have to go? Other than the parks, where do families have to go? What programs are still left for families?
I mean, well, I did have this thought speaking to what you just said, and I really wish that Chris could have been on, Sir Otten, and for I know we have a lot of people who are fans of Chris that watch this show, and so I just wanted to let y'all know that Chris is okay. He
Had some audio trouble today.
Yeah, he was having audio trouble. We were locked up, ready and ready to go, but my brother had some audio trouble, and hope we'll get that fixed by next week. But yeah. This is what I did want to say. When it comes to this, is that, and you've been very active in Chinatown too, but so many of the people that are suffering from this particular deal are seniors that long ago Chinatown was their hope that they can move to America, they can move to Chinatown. This was a place that, like-minded people would be, where they can gather and build with one another and still keep to a degree their culture intact. um and it's being rated, in similar to the way that the projects for Black folks and brown people have been rated lately, and they're starting to really feel it. But what we notice is where we have a lot of youth and young people. They have a lot of seniors that are literally being pushed out of Chinatown, a Chinatown that, I don't know what's too much Chinese about it anymore. They just put a Taco Bell there and a Fuddruckers there. I just praise the Lord. But anyway,
Fuddruckers used to be there years and years ago.
Yeah, but my thing is it's supposed to be Chinatown.
Yeah, because Fuddruckers used to be right on the corner of 7th and H, right there where that internet cafe is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the plan is actually, if I could, and I'm going to try to get a visual by next show. I couldn't find one. But the plan is actually to make 7th Street where you can't drive down it. 6th Street and 7th Street will be basically cut in half because the stadium wants to be expanded. Of course, should I say the arena in this case wants to be expanded. Of course, this plan also includes closing some businesses that have been there for years, so that they can expand. And it's kind of, if you can kind of picture where Martin Luther King Library is and how you walk further down in that area walking towards Pennsylvania Avenue, how you get towards Archives, it's planned to be a big green space to where that entire strip from H Street all the way to Pennsylvania Avenue will be green space. It'll be grass and people can walk and they can find places, trees and bushes, different things like that. It's supposed to be a nice little green space instead of streets, and built specifically just for pedestrians and no car traffic. That's the end game. And you won't be able to drive, I believe, until you get over to 8th Street going towards the MLK Library.
Oh, DC got to be a whole mess. Whole mess.
I mean, if you're a biker, it's good. But if you're used to driving down there,
even if you ride Metro, think about having to sit on the bus in that traffic.
Well, that's the next thing that Abe Pollin wants in his plan. Remember, first of all, he wanted the illegal no-fly zones there. But then he also he wanted the Metro stops removed, specifically the Metro stop for the 70 bus line on 7th and H, and that SX2 80 and P6 route bus stop line right there on 7th and H. And he says it's because it's quote unquote drawing the wrong attention. Which is code in my humble opinion for there's too many black folk hanging around right there. And I don't want that around my new stadium, my new arena. And so this is what that's what
I agree. I'm sorry. I agree, Michael. DC is already a mess with traffic. It is. But when I returned here as an adult, because I grew up here as a child, and when my mom left to go take care of her ailing father, when I came back here as an adult with my own child in tow, I could get from my side of town to Southeast in 15, 20 minutes. Now, I got to leave a whole 2 days prior, 2 business days prior, pack me a lunch because I'm going to be creeping along at 1 mile per hour for the next hour and 43 minutes. I can't do it no more, man. I can't do this anymore. I mean, Metro getting out of control. I get it with the putting up the fare gates because people keep jumping the fares. But there are places in America, I'm sure, that has free Metro. I gotta Google it, but I'm sure there's somewhere in America that allows people to ride the Metro for free. It should be free.
As
much as people paying these bills and utilities and all of these things, the one thing y'all can give us to get to work is free transportation.
I agree. I mean, I believe our council already put it on the table. I mean, there was a lot of talk about free transportation, free Metro. I know a former mayoral candidate, James Butler, he ran and he talked about he ran on quote unquote reparations. But when you look into his plan, reparations just meant free Metro. But that's another story.
Man,
I got to behave myself before I get in trouble.
Listen, I got so much stuff going on in my head. I want to say I can't say it. I can't see it.
I want to give a special shout out. Well, take a moment right now because we're headed towards the end of our show. I want to give a special shout out, specifically to listen. I know my Facebook, my IG followers, y'all have been riding with me since day one. You know what I'm saying? Back since, from the sandbox. I appreciate y'all. But I gotta give a special shout out to my folks on X, formerly known as Twitter. I don't really have a platform there. We, the rising voices of politics, our parent company, nor the People's Voice DC, really have a platform there. But we have been getting so much love from our followers on X, and I just had to personally tell you, listen, we appreciate y'all, bro. We appreciate you, sis. For tuning in, for sticking with us this 60 minutes just to, talk about what's going on in our city, talk about what we love, talk about what we want for our city, and listen, please, whatever social media site you're on, wherever you're listening to us at, whether you're on Spotify, shout out to TikTok. We just got on TikTok, y'all. Check us out on TikTok. Please search the People's Voice DC on TikTok. Y'all know I was kind of rebellious. It took me a long time, but I have joined TikTok Nation. So we have joined TikTok Nation.
The seniors call it the tickety top. I don't have a tickety talk.
You remind me of my grandmother always used to tell me, "Can you go down to Harris and Teeter's?" I used to say, "Lord, grandma, it is not Harris and Teeter's. It's just Harris Teeter, one person. That's it."
Oh,
So also before we end, I do want to announce something that we are going to be doing. The People's Voice DC really is our parent company, the Rising Voices of Politics. But I do want to highlight this. There are a lot of vacancies, a lot of ANC vacancies in our city. These are vacancies from Ward 2, Ward 3, Ward 4, Ward 5, Ward 6, Ward 7, and I believe there was one in Ward 8. I gotta check, but I gotta see. But yeah, like there, it's not just, and we got to stop this stereotype where there's only vacancies in the hood, there's only vacancies with black folk neighborhoods. Listen. First of all, our city is very diverse. Our neighborhoods are very diverse. It's almost impossible just to call a neighborhood a black or white neighborhood now at this point. But we need people. We need these vacancies filled. We want our people to have a voice. When things like this, like the budget come out, we want to make sure that you are represented and that your voice is heard and that your needs are raised. Your concerns and needs are raised. So we are going to launch a new campaign. We're going to you'll see flyers all over the city. You'll see more ads coming from us.
I think we just lost Mike, y'all. Where he
No,
go?
I'm right here. I'm right back. Okay, yo, listen. I'm like JD5, baby. So you might try to sack me, but I get right back up, baby. I get right back up. Nah, but we're going to launch a campaign, and you're going to see our flyers all over. We're just going to invite you to consider or go ahead and run to fill these vacancies. To go ahead, if there's a vacancy as a commissioner, there's no long drawn out running process. We go get your signatures. We go down. What's that? Down there by Navy Yard Southeast to the Board of Elections, and we let them know that, hey, look, you are a new commissioner. Basically, it's not a hard process. If you're interested in filling out one of those vacancies that I've shown, if you're interested in actually running for office soon, if you're interested or just thinking about it, want to have a conversation, that's what we are here for. We are the Rising Voices of Politics, and we are here to help encourage others to step up, to speak up, and to hold the leaders that we have right now accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So please, if you're interested, send us an email. You can put it in the comments. You can send us a chat, like however you need to do it. But we need these vacancies filled, and we want constituents' voices heard. And we see what's going on in Ward 8 right now with no council member. At a time like this, when there's a budget process going about, we don't want anyone to be slighted. We want to make sure everyone is properly represented. From the ANC commissioner to the council member, praise the Lord, to the mayor. But we want to make sure that we get these seats filled. So you will see flyers from us soon throughout communities that have these vacancies. And do not be shy about picking up the phone and giving us a call.
Yes, because y'all gotta take on a bone crusher attitude and never be scared. Never scared. Come on, we got your back.
Never scared. Hey, we ain't never scared. Hey.
Come on. Yeah.
I be wanting to have these music. I be wanting to have some of these tones going, but they hid me in today's world. They like, nah, bro. You know, I ain't trying to have to pay nobody just to play their little 30-second music clip. You know, it's a different world out here. It's a different world out. It's a different world out here. You know, Facebook muted one of our last shows because we played a clip. I'm like, all we did was play 20 seconds. Facebook like, you don't own the rights. We muting it. I'm like, yeah. So you know, I'm sorry because there's some up and coming artists in DC that's gonna showcase for us. That's gonna put on for us, and we're gonna put them on for the city. So we got it coming. We got it coming. We got it coming.
Yeah, step up, y'all. It ain't gonna be an easy task, but it's a task that needs to be done. And if you sick of what's going on now, then you need to come on and be a part of the change.
Yes. And speaking of one of them young voices, before we go, my dear brother, my good brother, who is the youth, or should I say the student SBOE representative for Ward 8, and also one of my fellow co-laborers in the ministry, Minister Khalik Bonds, is calling for a youth-led press conference. He is tired of being sick and tired. So get your nephew, get your niece, get your brother,
get your cousin now.
Yeah, get little cousin Rock, get little cousin Ra, and get little cousin Jen. Like, listen, and listen. Every family got a day. They said,
go get baby and them kids.
Listen, if you in church and you know it's this little boy you always see in church and he always falling asleep, that's the one that got something to say. Get him, invite him, let him come on out. Listen, parents, if you are a parent like the parents I had and your child just ain't been doing good and you ain't getting out this house, you ain't going nowhere. Listen, tell them turn the location on, share the location with you, let them come on out. We need them for this event. If you need to call me and be like, look, I need you to watch out for my child, they supposed to be just going there and coming back. Send me a picture. I'll make sure they get their hind parts back home. I'll send an Uber myself. Okay, so let's get this done. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be more details of this youth-led press conference. If you are someone who isn't necessarily a student or one of our young folk, but you are someone who can help put this press conference together, our brother needs our help. We need media to attend. We need a venue to hold this press conference at, and he is just at the beginning stage. This is just a call of action. We need this call of action to actually turn into action. So if you know that you have the ability to get this done, to contribute something to this, listen, reach out, send us an email, reach out to my brother if you know him, reach out to me personally if you want to, reach out to Lady High. Let's help get this done. And I really would like this press conference to be done the sooner rather than later, because our dear brother is an academic phenomenon who has been accepted at Morehouse, and he has to go this summer to his next chapter of his life at Morehouse. But even before he goes, he loves his colleagues, he loves his peers, he loves his city so much that he's like, well, before I go, we at least got to do this too. And so that's my man. He's gonna come back and he's gonna be the councilman for Ward 8, and you know it's gonna be lovely. But for right now, let's support my brother and let's meet the help, let's meet the needs. That's it for today's episode. Any plans for the rest of the day, Lady High?
I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna relax a little bit and crochet. It's raining outside. I'm about to take me in a movie. Got me a nice little crochet project going on over there. I already crocheted a bag I gave to my daughter, crocheted a pet bed. My cats, they just love it. So now I'm gonna make me an Afghan so that on days like this, I can grab my Afghan, pick me a movie, and make me a cocktail. This is water, but make me a cocktail, and just enjoy the day.
Hey man, well that's what I'm gonna do. I have been catching up on The Chi, and I'm on season 5. I'm going to catch up a little bit more. I'm going to watch. You know what? I made the post already. I'm letting everybody know. Listen, do not text me. Do not call me. Do not make any posts. Do not chat me. Do not at me. Don't come for me when it comes to my New York Knicks, okay? We're going through a time right now. You know, we're going through a time. But my Knicks will be back. It ain't over. We down 3-1. There are plenty of examples of teams who have come back in the playoffs from a 3-1 deficit. I still believe in my Knicks, you know. So, you know, I've been here before the show kind of, you know, a little down after, you know, we took that L last night. I'm going to watch Oklahoma tonight, and I'm going to watch my Knicks tomorrow. But, yeah, that's what I'm going to do the rest of the day. I'll probably watch the game. I'm going to watch a little The Chi. If anybody know a good movie, listen, I got Amazon Prime, Netflix, Max, Stars, and I love Tubi. You can't go wrong with Tubi. But,
you cannot. They got all the goods. All the goods.
If anybody got a good movie, if anybody got some good seasons for me, you know, a good series, should I say, for me to.
Oh, yeah, I'll text you some stuff.
Let me know. Let me know.
I'll text you some stuff.
I'm home. Yeah. It's raining. So let's get it. Let's get it. Until next time, y'all, this is the People's Voice. And I'm saying, see you later. I'm out.
Hey there, DC. Welcome to a space where your voice truly matters. Welcome to the People's Voice, DC, the fastest growing local political podcast in our nation's capital. This platform brings you the stories that shape the community and the voices that drive change. Pastor Mike Campbell is the host and founder. The mission is to create a platform where every resident of DC feels heard and valued. The podcast isn't just about politics, it's about the pulse of the city. It's about you. It dives into the heart of the issues that affect daily lives, introducing the incredible co-hosts who bring their own unique perspectives and expertise to the table. First up, Lady Hi, the dynamic founder of Hair Prep. Her energy and passion for housing is truly inspiring. She is a powerhouse advocate for affordable housing and emergency preparedness. Lady Hi has dedicated her life to ensuring that every child in DC has access to quality living. And then there's Sir Chris Otten, a man with a deep understanding of the political landscape of the city. Chris is known as a former DC City Council and mayoral candidate, but around here, he's the go-to guy for tough questions. He has quickly become a fan favorite. Together, the three hosts are committed to bringing the stories that matter, the issues that affect everyone, and the voices that often go unheard. The People's Voice. DC is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. It's dedicated to amplifying the voices of those who are often overlooked. Subscribe now and keep the conversation going. Engage on social media, share thoughts, and be a part of the dialogue. They are Pastor Mike Campbell, Lady Hi, and Chris Otten, a voice for the people.